Yo, guys. Hey, guys, this is Mo. Okay, we actually are live right now. All this time, I was talking and I was thinking I was live. This is my first time using Webinar Jam, and I had to click go live. Even though I was on, apparently I had to click go live. It's a bit non intuitive. But hey, tech is doing tech things, and we're here right now. So, can everyone confirm you could hear me and see me? Um, yeah, I've been talking for the last like 4 minutes. I'm so embarrassed. So this is Mo, director at SkillHat, broadcasting live, and I want to just confirm you can see the presentation. I'm actually gonna let's get to the presentation. Let's stop sharing. I'm gonna stop so you can see me. If everyone can see me, just say yeah, I can see you. Okay, good. Okay, whew, that was embarrassing because I've been talking, and I was like, why is no one responding? Okay, all right, my bad. I apologize. So we're gonna start the actual presentation now, and okay, so now you should be able to see the presentation. I know Jenny said, yeah, you can see it. Sounds good. Everything's good. All right, let's kick it off. That was very embarrassing, but let's get to it. Let's go. So today, we're gonna talk about why tech, like why you should get into tech. What's so amazing about this space? We'll talk about some success stories that some SkillHat alumni and people in the community uh, can achieve and have achieved. We'll talk about how to figure out the right role for you, steps to land the right role, and how I might be able to help you, how the SkillHat team can help you. Okay. All right. So just so we can again see if everyone's good, let's put wherever you're calling from and watching this from or listening to this podcast from, put your city and country in the chat. So I'm going to start. I'm going to say Toronto, Canada. That's me, Mo. So just put your city and country in the chat. Let's just see all the different countries and cities we have people calling in from today. Shion said I look chubbier than the last time I saw you. That's what happens when you get married, man. When you get married, you can't keep the weight off because you're just eating all this good food. Okay, so we got Toronto, Canada, Edmonton, Canada, Francois, my man, Toronto, Canada. Let's see. Is that H Town, Hamilton, Winnipeg, Ottawa, Brampton, Canada. Lots of Canadians in the building, actually. I haven't seen anybody in the States here yet. Oh, Paris, France. Very nice. Lagos, Nigeria. Very good. Kigali, Rwanda. I love that. Rwanda's a beautiful country. Okay, good. Now we get a sense everybody's in and we can see everybody in the chat. Okay. So, a bit more about who we are, really, really quick, so you get a sense of the company who's presenting this. We're a new company. We've only been around for a year, made some amazing impact in the year. Skill has a training and staffing company. We're based in Toronto, Canada, and Houston, Texas. And we provide expert training and coaching to launch people who are really, really motivated. We only work with motivated professionals to launch you to dream careers. And with SkillHat, you can pivot, transition, and grow with a mentor right by your side. And our typical community members, people who belong here, are those who want to transition to tech. So why you're here right now, or strategy or management, people who are newcomers or new grads, those who want to get certified or promoted. And we work with employers as well who want to hire quality talent like yourself. A bit more about me because I'll refer to some of my experience in tech in the last 10 years through this presentation. So I went to school in Toronto, Canada, where I studied IT and business. And my first job was in health tech, working as a project manager and a business analyst in Canada with a really small team of engineers. Then I went to Nigeria. I worked with Andela. Andela is a billion-dollar company right now. And what that company did is that they found the smartest people in Africa and trained them to become developers for U.S. companies. So outsourcing and work from remote before work remote was cool. This is in 2014, so I helped start that company. I've experienced starting a company with a team of like 20 people when I joined. Now it's a thousand plus people, billion-dollar company. So that experience was very interesting. Then I went to my first executive role as a product owner at EduTech. And at EduTech, what we did was we helped on campus. We helped top universities in Africa build online versions of on-campus programs. So one of my claims to fame there is I helped build the first online MBA in Nigeria. Amazing impact we made there. helping school transition from 300 people in class to thousands of people online at the same tuition fee, so essentially tripling their income in a very short time. I came back to Canada, worked for the government as a project manager, worked at Marsh Canada, which is insurance brokerage, as an assistant vice president and technical product manager. And then I started SkillHat with our team, where I'm a leader here at SkillHat. Actually a product manager at SkillHat and the team lead. And in terms of training and coaching, I've helped build tons of programs and trained about 400 plus business analysts, product managers, project managers. Now, recently started working with designers, and I've helped companies build project management organizations. So that's a bit more about me for context on who's this guy and who does he think he is. Tell me all this stuff. So let's talk about you. Um, Quick one, just put in the chat. Like, why do you want to get into tech? I'm keen to understand what is your motivation. So what is it for you? Why do you want to get into tech? So you could throw it in the chat. Like, what is it for you? Why do you want to get into tech? I know the one that's going to be common to most people, and I'll wait to see it. Someone says six figures. So yeah, I was waiting for that. The money. Francois says always love programming and building new things. Yeah, absolutely. More autonomy over the work I do, absolutely. Better lifestyle, more money, work-life balance, money, yes, longevity. These are the exact things that we're here for, and that's why we're here today. Um, Somebody said job security, flexible hours, pay, financial freedom and liberty, more earning potential, switching careers. Yeah, Aaron says switching careers is interesting tech space, but yeah, but why? Why, Aaron? Why do you want to switch your careers? Somebody said financial freedom, innovation, absolutely. Soft life. Okay, thank you all for that. These are same reasons that I wanted to do it, right? Um, the six strong reasons I'll just share really, really quick are one, as you guys have said, right? Career stability and demand. Forget the layoffs. Forget that. A lot of tech companies are laying people off right now. What had happened was, when COVID hit, these companies saw a boom in their user base and their user growth. So like Zoom, Netflix, everybody was home, right? Using technology. We couldn't go out. And so they raised a bunch of money from investors and they overraised money. So they raised too much money. And when COVID kind of went down as far as people being ill and people were getting back in the office, the growth went down. And so they overraised money, overhired, and they had to let some people go when the economy adjusted, right? But there's a massive demand for tech talent right now. There's a war on talent. Companies are scrambling to hire tech talent across all spectrums, right? Some people have two jobs, right? They work two different jobs and they can do it. Companies don't even mind because they just need talent. They need developers. They need business analysts. They need you more than you need them. I'm an entrepreneur. I have teams. We're always looking for people because the opportunity is massive. So there's massive demand in the tech space right now, and it's only going to keep growing, right? The BA role, for example, demand is going to go up by I think 17% between now and 2027. Same for developers, same for product managers. So there's that stability in terms of the career and demand. Two is the mobility, which is like there's demand for me, but I'm flexible. I could work from home, as you said. I could work freelance. I could work contract. Right? There's a lot of jobs that you can't really work as a contractor or a freelancer, but in the tech space you can do that. It's fractional work. I could work for a quick contract here, make $100 an hour for 6 months, take a vacation for 3 months, and go back into another job that I want. Right? I was literally in Mexico a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, and I was working on the beach in Mexico, having calls on the beach, drinking a nice pina colada. So that opportunity is there. And three, one of my biggest reasons here is impact. Right, you get to make a lot of impact because of the scale and the value of tech. Like, look at us right now. We're having this call with we have 6 to 9 people here right now. I'm in my home office, right? With all this technology, we can do that, and there's so much more impact you can make with tech as far as healthcare software, as far as you know, um, oil and gas manufacturing technology. All types of software for different use cases, agriculture. The impact you can make on people to get them out of poverty and out of a lifestyle that is not the best is significant. And then this is what everyone's talking about: money. It's all about the Benjamins. A lot of high paying roles in tech. The numbers we're seeing right now is kind of crazy. We'll talk more about these numbers shortly, but this is the opportunity with the highest pay. You get to innovate, you get to build new things, and this is actually the key thing with tech. You are always the innovator. You're always the one who is creating the new thing, and you're always the disruptor. You're never the disrupted. What that means, if you're in a different role, not to pick on any specific roles, not to pick on any specific functions, but the traditional roles, like if you were a travel agent, for example, back in the day, now we have these technologies like Booking.com and Expedia disrupting that space where you don't need a travel agent anymore. You can book a flight on your own through the web, right? Um, and it's just fun. You get to have an idea and execute on it and see stuff come to life and see people love your product. So these are some reasons why the tech space is very attractive right now. And so I just want to share a few success stories of some people who've done some amazing stuff. Just throw some numbers real quick of the SkillHat alumni. So I'm going to stop the presentation here, and I'm going to try to share my screen on this side. I haven't done this before in Webinar Jam. So if my screen is not good, like if it's blurred, just let me know. But I'm showing our Instagram page, just a few people. This is Shinaza on the UX side. She took our UX design program. I think she increased her income by like 25K or more within a very short time. I think she got the job within like 3 months after the UX design program. This is I'm not gonna name his name, but this person sent me a message. This is him texting me saying he's just got a senior BA job. They're paying 130K. I'm like, how much were you making before? After the SkillHat training program, his first interview, he got the offer, and then he's really excited about the opportunity and working with SkillHat. And I'm like, this is great. He was earning 75K before, and he's like he negotiates 140. So that's what double, just close to double what he was making, right? Another person I'll show here is let's see, who's this person. This is just like a couple of weeks ago, August 15th, right? This person took the BA program, got a job as a consultant 2 months after the program. Um, High paying job as well. This person here, she got an offer, two offers in 2 weeks, and she's like, uh, you know, I'm short of words because she just couldn't believe that this happened to her. This is a lady who was kind of struggling as far as not having enough income for her kids. She was a mother who just had a baby, and she had two kids, and she was really excited that this she kind of uplifted herself. Then we have this other person. I'll skip this one. And we got another one who landed a great job, and she increased her income by 41K, right? Think about what that means for you. I like to increase my income by 41K right now. She was making 54K, and then she moved to 95. And then this is somebody who got a job as a technical BA with IBM. This job paid 125K. And then this one, she increased her income by 100%. She moved from 43K to 80K. So no matter what you're making right now, the point is, whenever you add certain skills that we're going to talk about today, you're going to be able to move that up, right, and increase that. So we're going to go back to the presentation again, and let's see. So you should be seeing a slide that says poll. What role are you interested in? So let's start this poll right now. On the right side, I think you should be seeing a poll. So what role are you looking to get into? So let's get some data and see what people are trying to get into. So we're going to publish this. Let's do it. Okay. So you should be seeing a poll right now. If you could just fill that out, let's see. So you could choose product owner, scrum master, project coordinator, UX designer, developer, BA, other. And if you choose other, if the role that you want to get into is not here, or I don't know, put in the chat, say whatever you want to get into that's not there, or you could say I don't know. It's okay to not know, because we're going to talk about how to figure it out today. Okay. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. We've only used about just over 10 minutes. So we have 18% so far say product manager, product owner, 9% say scrum master, we'll move to 8, 22% say project manager, 2% say UX designer, 7% developer, 37% BA. Guys, Goodness is our marketing lead. Goodness, could you help me just confirm that this is recording? I'm not sure how you can confirm, but just help me confirm that, okay? Thank you. So, and let's see what we have in the chat. So in the chat, we have customer success, we have cloud engineer, okay? Thanks for sharing that. We'll talk more about how to get into those. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, overall, the highest is business analyst so far, and then we have the second. So BA at 33% right now. Second is the project manager at 20%, and then the third is the product manager at 14%. Scrum master is at 12%. UX is at 4%. Developers at 8%. Okay, thank you all for sharing that. We'll talk more about these opportunities and how to get into it. Okay, so just for people who are not even sure, it seems everyone here kind of knows what they want to get into, but I just wanted to show the slide just because it helps me kind of group the different people in tech. And the first thing I'll show is the top right, which is the customer. If you're a user right now, if you use Instagram, you use WhatsApp, you're using Webinar Jam right now, whatever you use, right? You're already in tech because as an end user, as a consumer, as a customer, you already have context, you already see problems that these apps have. And so all the problems you're observing in your environment right now, those are the opportunities for you to tap in and say, hey, I noticed this problem. How would I solve this? Right. So we wanted to start there. If you're already a consumer, you have a leg up because I use this example all the time. If you're already a consumer, a customer, an end user, you're better off than maybe your grandma or my mom who never uses these technologies, these apps, software. And so that's the first step, right? Being a user. Then on the change management side, right, we are always changing things. We're changing products to make it better, changing processes. This is where I play, for example. So I'm a product manager, project manager, business analyst, and then you also have Scrum Master in here, which is not documented. But this is the change management side. And then we have the business side. This is who goes and gets the money from the customers, right? They own the customers, the executives, tech sales, operations team, product marketing, entrepreneurs, right? You could be here. You could be a business person in tech. You don't have to be a technical person or a change manager to be in tech. And then this is the technical team. So our developers, QAs, designers, um, analysts, tech support, architects, etc. And then we have the bottom right. People don't like these guys too much. They don't like the regulators as much, right? But this is a very important role because of the privacy issues. You know, tech could be a monopoly. Like Google's a monopoly, the only company in search. Really, no one cares about Bing. Really, if you ever use Bing, say I use Bing. I'll wait, right? So there's all these big monopolies, and so there's regulators who come up with policies and keep these big tech companies in check. So there's that side as well. So here's just a view of the different roles, right? So, but how do you know the right role for you? Because it's possible you might be going into the role and it's not the right role for you. Okay. So my advice is to figure out the best role for you based on your personality. If you're more introverted, the right role for you might be a role where you're not interfacing with customers or leading a team, but you're a technical individual contributor. So you might think of a developer role, for example, or quality assurance, QA. Even sometimes you could be introverted as a UX designer or a data analyst, right? If you're extroverted, you want to be customer facing. There's tons of opportunities for you, right? So there's a product management role, there's the BA, as a BA, depending on your personality, there's different kinds of BAs you could be. Uh, but yeah, if you're extroverted, you want to be client facing. You could be in tech sales. You could be in project management, product management. So the point is, your personality will help you figure it out a little bit more. And if you want to have more of a conversation on that, we'll talk about how you can connect with myself and our learning advisors to figure out the right role for you based on personality. Two is technical depth. Like how deep do you want to be, and how deep are you right now technically, right? Um, are you a math guy? Are you a guy who loves math, who loves analytics, who loves numbers, or no? Are you more so? I want to work on the business side. I want to figure out how we can make more money. I want to figure out how to make customers more happy. I want to more so design the business process, and I don't want to be technical, and that's okay, right? There's something for everybody. And then three is just your background right now. This is not the most important thing, but if you're looking for a quick win, your existing background right now is leverage. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Do not uh, forget your humble beginnings, right? Like the Bible would say. So your background right now, your academic background, your work experience right now is valid. But the thing is, you don't want to think short term. You don't want to think, oh, I don't have a background in this thing I want to get into. You don't have to have a tech background to get into tech. That's the whole idea of this webinar, right? So think midterm and long term. So when I say think midterm, it might take you like 2 years to get the role you want to get into. That's in my mind, that's long term. Anything so short term to me is like next 3 to 4 months, right? OKRs, objectives and key results. 3 to 4 months is short term. Midterm is like 5 months to like a year. That's midterm in my mind at least. Maybe even a year to a year and a half. That's kind of midterm. And then long term is like that 2 year mark plus, at least in how I think about it and how you want to make decisions. So you want to be able to have that balance, right? Where you can make a transition and hit something, get something that you're excited about and boost your income in 6 months, right? 6 months from today, you want to be able to essentially increase your income and get into a role you love. That's possible. So, but what if the role you really want is a long term goal and it takes 2 years? So I would say have that goal for a 2 year, for a role you want to get into in 2 years, but think about what's the springboard, what's the stepping stone. With tech, is very hands on. So the quicker you get into it, the sooner you have the exposure, you have projects under your belt, you have a network, and so you want to get in as soon as possible in the midterm. But don't always think short term. Don't think like some people call me and they're like, "Well, I want to get a job tomorrow." Like this guy called me, he's like, "Bro, um, I want to become a business analyst, man. I have a guy in Dallas. He said that he can help me become a BA in like 5 weeks." I'm like, "Oh, really? What experience do you have right now?" He's like, "I don't. I'm just a hustler, man. You know me. I'm in the streets. I'm doing my thing." I'm like, "Okay, cool. So in 5 weeks, how are you gonna do that?" He's like, "Well, the guy's gonna work on my resume for me. Just put some false stuff in my resume. Just kind of doctor the resume, and then when I get a job, he'll help me get a job, and then I gotta just like shadow him and like work with him as he's helped me do the job." And I'm like, yo, okay. He's like, then I told him about our programs and how you're gonna actually learn the skills and make a transition. I walk him through it, and I said it's gonna take about 6 months, about 4 to 6 months after. So training is like 3 months, and then after that you can get a job in 3 months. He's like, ah, it's long, it's long, bro. You want to take your time and really, really hone in and learn the skills and build a network. So don't think too short term. Think like midterm, have a 6 month plan, and then think long term as well. What's my long term goal? How's my midterm goal fall and work with that? Okay. So let's see what we got in the chat. Yeah, so somebody's asking if we can get a replay of the session. Yes, this is being recorded. You can watch it after. All right. So quick another question. Let's do another poll. What do you think? So the first poll, we're gonna end that right now. The next poll is, let's do this next poll. How do I, okay, I gotta reset. Okay, next poll is, what challenge do you think is preventing you from landing a tech job? So I have in the chat, oh, sorry, I got to publish this. We have, not sure what role is right for me, don't know where to start, no tech degree, I can't afford it, I have no experience, I'm not succeeding in interviews, I don't have any experience, I'm not ready. Okay, so thank you all for sharing your comments in the poll. And if you have any other challenge that I haven't mentioned, feel free to just put it in the chat. Yeah, okay. So uh, as we'll see, most people are saying it's because they don't have the experience. So that's why we're here. We'll talk about how to get that done without the experience. Then the second major reason is that people are not succeeding in the interviews. Okay, we'll talk about that as well. Uh, a number of folks are saying they don't know where to start at 13%, or they're not sure what role is right for them at 13% as well. 6% say no tech related degree. So like as far as university degree, it's not always necessary. It's not necessary from in like maybe 60-70% of the time. It's not necessary. We'll talk about that as well. So all in all, most people think that the experience is a problem. So the good news is that that's why we're here. We're going to talk about how to make that jump even without the experience. Okay. So we can keep the poll up there, and everyone can still see my screen. Can we confirm that even with the poll, you can still see my screen? Yeah, just you can see, I can see your screen, so I know. I'm gonna keep that poll up. I'm also seeing some comments in the chat that say having no experience yet is a gap, and then having need to get a better role. Blessing, if you need to get a better role and you need some help with that, we can help. We'll talk about that. Thank you for confirming. You can see the chat. Um, somebody's saying, Gabrielle saying retaining technical information could be a challenge. I don't think you need to retain everything. I think you need to have like your guide, like your cheat sheet, right? Your handy book where you're documenting stuff, and when you're in interviews, you can see it as you're talking. Like if you look at me, I have a cheat sheet right here. You can see my screen. There's like a board. I put stuff there all the time. You can't remember every single thing. That's not the expectation. You're not supposed to be a walking memory card, right? That's why you have your devices and your phones. The idea is you want to have a repository and a resource. Developers spend half their time on Stack Overflow just Googling stuff all the time. That's half the job. I can't figure something out. I'm going to go figure out how to learn it and do it in real time. So here's the steps. So this is why we're here. This is the actual process to land your dream role with no experience. Take a picture of this, if you will. You have the recording, you can watch it again, but this is literally step 1 to 8 to do it. It's not rocket science, it's not magic, it's very simple. These are the steps. That's it. Just give yourself time. We're going to walk through these steps, but the idea is give yourself time and go through these steps. Okay? So we're going to talk about these steps today, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So, like I said, right, I've trained 400 plus people directly and also indirectly through our business with other team members and instructors, and we've noticed that people who succeeded, I showed you a bunch of screenshots and stuff. These are the steps that everyone kind of had to take, and if you skip steps, you're gonna come back, right? So you kind of want to do it in this way, otherwise you face a challenge at some point, right? So here's how you gotta do it. So obviously the first thing is training, right? You want to get the right training. So this is pretty obvious to most people, but the key thing I want to share here is I've seen people struggle with training by kind of doing a lot of self-paced stuff at the beginning. So when you're transitioning, you can learn in a self-paced manner, meaning I go take courses on Coursera, Udemy, YouTube. Like we love those platforms; they're great. I recommend them. But in making a transition, I recommend an actual instructor-led program with an instructor who has the experience and has done it before, has done the work before, has trained other people before, where you can ask questions and get that one-on-one relationship um, in a group. So you want to be learning with others. It's just so much better. The experience is so much better. Um, there's empathy for you, and I've seen people take self-paced programs, and first of all, they're in the wrong program. I met a guy last week. He's trying to get into tech. He might be here right now. If you're here, you know yourself. He's like taking classes on Python on Udemy, but then there's a BSA stuff he's taking. There's some cloud stuff he's taking. There's some project management stuff he's taking. He's all over the place. And I asked him, "What role do you want to get into?" He's like, "I'm thinking. I'm confused. I have different roles. I'm thinking." I'm like, "Figure out the role you want. Take us to work backwards and figure out exactly what I need to learn to get there. Take one bootcamp, not 5 courses, one program that will help you get there. At least learn all the skills for that one role you want to get to. It might take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, but the one role you want to get to, the one program, you're going to learn it with a group. The value of the group is because it could be demotivating being alone. You need accountability. So when you learn with a group, you have like group work and classwork, and the real job is in the group anyway, right? There's no tech job where you're all alone all the time, zero. Even as a developer, you have a client, right? And then you have users, and you have QA, and then you have a BA. So no matter what role it is, it's always collaborative, right? Because collaborative teams have the best results. So that's my takeaway here, or for you, is get training with experts in a group, and then when you have that one training program that will certify you as having learned the skills, then you do the self-paced stuff, or with that you do self-paced stuff, right? You do YouTube, you do Udemy, you do Coursera. Again, we love those platforms. LinkedIn Learning, do it, but have that strong program from, if it's U of T or SkillHat, like any university. Just get the training you need. Don't skip that. Don't have someone just work on your resume for you and you know nothing about what's on the resume. Don't do that. And then get certified, right? So whatever um, skill set you're trying to get into, or a role, if it's UX, go get certified. SkillHat can certify you. If it's a product, get certified. So training is learning the skills with the group. Certified is like I'm certified as a PMP, for example, project management professional. Take the exam. I'm certified as a BA, as an ECBA or a CBAP or CCBA, certified in cloud, certified in development, whatever stamp you got to put on your name, get that certification. Okay. That's the first step. Obviously, many of you know this. Two is networking. You got to get out of your house, go out. Like right now, everyone's networking online. I encourage that highly, but now everything's opened up. Go out, go to conferences, go meet people who are doing the job. You want to network with two types of people: people who are senior, who could be a mentor to give you insight, to help you with your negotiation, to help you even figure out what's the right role for you. And then you want to have an army of people who are already in the job at your level, right? So your mentor is someone whose past is your future. So like where you want to get to, they've done that and they move forward past that, right? So it shows that they already did it well enough to have moved past it and they can kind of coach you on how to even get in. So you want to network. So at this point, I'm seeing a bunch of questions. I love it. Let's keep the questions coming. So how do we find networking events? Just Google it. So the sites I recommend are meetup.com, meetup.com. Do that. Go there. There's a lot of networking events for whatever role you want to get into. Then there's a chapter event. So if you're in project management, there's a PMI chapter events. There's a chapter for almost every city. So Google PMI chapter events Toronto, PMI chapter events Lagos, PMI chapter events Rwanda, Kigali, right? There's other PMs there who also want to who also want to network. You will see that even those on the job are trying to network still because you want to figure out how can I be better. What's going on in the world of project management and other industries? I'm in pharma, I'm in construction, I'm in tech. What's going on in other spaces, right? So networking is massive. You get a lot of insight. For a long time, I was underpaid. I did not know I was underpaid. People don't talk about salaries as much, right? So I was not making as much as my peers. And when I started networking, I was like, yo, what's going on? I'm not what's going on out here? I'm working my butt off and I'm not being paid as much as my peers, right? So networking, massive. If I think about all the best jobs I've had with Andela, they flew me out to Nigeria, build a whole company from scratch. You know, that was one of the best jobs I had. But that job came from networking. When I was in school, I was going to all these conferences and going to recruit speakers to come to our conferences. And there, I met the founder of the company, and then he called me back after like a year and a half, saying, "Bro, I remember you from last year. You have some great energy. We're doing this thing. We want to build this whole business in Nigeria to train engineers and have them work." I raised money from Carmelo Anthony, from Mark Zuckerberg. I'm like, "What? Really? Yeah. Like, I have like $4 million right now. Come, let's go to Nigeria." That was just off networking. Similar, my first job with Future Strategies, I went to a networking thing with my mom, just followed her there for no reason. And then I met the owner's wife who said, "I like you, come work with my husband." She called me back after like 6 months. But the point was when you go networking, you don't want to be gimme, gimme, gimme. You want to go give, give, give. You want to think about, you want to go to somebody and not say, "Oh, I want to get into tech. I have this goal." You don't want to be like asking for stuff. You want to ask them, "What's your challenge? What's going on with your work? How can I help you? What problems do you have on a day-to-day basis? What do you love about your job?" Oh, that's great. You want to be interested in people. So that's what you want to do, right? You want to be that person who's connecting people together. You go to a networking event, you ask somebody, "Oh, what's your challenge?" They might say, "I need a ride to get home." You meet another guy, he's going to the same area, you connect them both. Now you're seen as a connector. That's a very funny and small example, but the point is when you're networking, that's your goal. Always ask, "How can I help you?" That's what you gotta do first, right? Be interested in people, not just trying to not don't go to say, "I want a job, I want a job." It's like, "Oh, how can I help solve your problem?" Okay. Networking is key. And of course, networking online is very simple. Do that as well. So LinkedIn, meetup.com, Eventbrite, um, tons, tons of platforms to network. Then you got to master the tools and build something. This is let's take a step back at the list, right? So we are we've done the top three. Now we're at number four, and I have a question, right? So like, say you were doing a wedding, right? You're doing you only get married once, right? Knock on wood, by God's grace, right? Would you hire a photographer for your wedding who shoots with an iPhone? Yes or no? I wouldn't, right? I want to see that this guy is coming here for my wedding with the best camera possible, right? With the whole gamut, with the the drones and everything, right? Because the best tools gets the work done most efficiently. So whatever tools you blessings like depends. I would not, and you should not. Your wedding, you could have another photographer on the side who's using an iPhone, but you want to have the main guy coming with DSLRs and the top cameras, right? That's what you need, bless. I'm telling you right now. If you haven't gotten married yet, don't get iPhone photographer. All right, iPhone is dope, but you want the best. The point is, you want to learn the software, the tools, and that takes time, and that's hard to do randomly. So you want to learn. So if you're a PM, software like project manager, you want to learn software like Jira, Confluence, Asana, Smartsheet. If you're a designer, you want to learn like Figma, Balsamic, InVision, etc. Because those tools help you with prototyping, help you send stuff to clients, help you get feedback, help you run brainstorming sessions. So if you're like a product manager, you're responsible for innovation, coming up with ideas, brainstorming, um, sketching, stuff like that. You want to learn Mural, all these brainstorming tools, right? Collaboration tools. But the point is, whatever your trade, learn the tools. You're a cloud engineer, you want to learn Azure, you want to learn Google, AWS, you want AWS. So learn the tools. But it's hard to just learn tools randomly because it's like, how do I just start playing with Jira and Confluence? It's kind of just, you're not going to actually learn it. So you want to use the tools to build something, right? So the next question is, if you were a CEO, you just raised $1 million or $10 million, and you have to build out this new app, and you're really busy. You have an engineering team. You need a product manager. Now, engineering teams are expensive, right? So the average engineer in Canada, let's say they make 100K. You have four engineers. That's 400K a year. In 1 week, at 400K a year for four engineers, so 400K a year. In a week, they're making, that's $8,000 a week. In 2 weeks, that's 16K. So every sprint in tech is 2 weeks, right? Usually 2 weeks of work is what we call a sprint. So in 2 weeks, the cost to you as CEO is $16,000. And in 2 weeks, you have to deliver something of value. Would you hire a product manager to lead your engineering team who's never built anything before? I'll wait. Would you? Would you actually hire a product manager to lead your engineering team who's never built anything before and never worked with an engineering team before? No, you wouldn't, right? So why do you think anyone will hire you to do the same job and you haven't built anything? That's my point. So you got to learn the tools and then you got to build something. You have to have a portfolio of a product that you can whip up and say, hey, when you go to networking events, you say, check this out. I built this cool thing that does X and Y. So we have a way to do that at SkillHat. We have the accelerator where you can actually build an app in 9 weeks. The last accelerator, they built three amazing apps. One is an app for Black people to find scholarships in Canada specifically. It's called Black Scholar. They're launching that right away, like in like a week. The other one is an app to connect people who want to get fit and work out with those who are looking for like customers. So for people who coach fitness trainers to find people who want to get fit. So like a matching platform, it matches them based on personality, based on location, based on pricing, etc. But they built that in 9 weeks. Then the last one is SkillHat Talent. They built an app for employers to find you. They built an app for employers who want to hire from the minority community, from the Black community, who want to hire women, immigrants, from who have tech skills, right? Through SkillHat. So they built an app for that. But the point is, all those guys now, after their training, now have a portfolio. So the point is, you want to use these tools to build something in your portfolio. Okay, so that's the next thing. And then, how do you get hands-on experience? You can join the accelerator, like I just mentioned, or you could just go volunteer and intern, right? You can work with nonprofits. Nonprofits are always cash strapped. They always have big goals. So just Google non-for-profits around me. If you email 20 non-for-profits right now, I guarantee you will get a job in 2 months or 2 weeks rather. Email non-for-profits. They're always cash strapped because they raise money through sponsors, through donors, right? And they always have ambitious goals. So that's a really good way to get hands-on experience. But of course, don't go work in some random nonprofit that no one knows and they're not using the right processes, right? You want to work with, even if they're not established, you want to work on something that's interesting, that's innovative, and you can put on your resume and will make you stand out. Okay. Religious groups, church, right? My wife is now a senior product manager at Loblaw. She only started getting in tech like 3.5 years ago, right? Um, Getting paid really, really well as a senior product manager. But her first job after her BA training, I trained my wife, by the way, right? I trained her a long time ago as a BA. And after she took the training, she went and volunteered with her church. She helped the church build. Her pastor was launching a book. She helped the pastor build out this whole app and website for the book launch. And then there was an e-learning business the pastor's wife had, so she helped like kind of build out that whole e-learning business as well as far as the e-learning software for people to enroll. And that was amazing because she learned how to test software, how to design the experience, the marketing piece and everything. And that's one of the things she used to get a really good job as a senior BA at CBC. Okay. And then if you have a friend who has a business, help them out, help them improve their process, help them with the business case, help them with a pitch deck, help them with um, like a brand. If you're a designer, help them with like their brand, right? With their experience, help them improve their checkout process, right? Something that you can show to employers. Don't sit at home and just apply after training without keeping your hands dirty. Once you're done with your training, keep getting hands-on experience every single day. If you can't find a good way to do this, we have the accelerator. It's a very structured sprint of 9 weeks where there's coaching every week from coaches at companies like Stripe, Amazon, where you're building an app for 9 weeks with the team and you're getting coaching every single day through that process. Okay. So again, recap, where are we in the whole process? It takes a while to scroll back. So let's see. I want to scroll back. So we've talked about training, certification, building a network, learn the tools. We don't have too much time. So I want to really focus on the resume, the interview, and applying and educating. So I need another 10 minutes for that. So we'll run through the whole thing. We'll end at 6 Eastern, 11 minutes, and then we'll do any kind of Q&A after that, okay? But in the meantime, please ask any questions you have. And then what I'll do is I'll take all the questions at the end, okay? So quick check. I'll pause here. So far, if this is valuable, let me know. Say yes, this is cool, this is valuable, or no, this is trash. And if you have any more questions, put them in the chat right now. We'll take a quick 30-second break. Let me just get some feedback. Is this what you're looking for? And then what other questions do you have? And I'll get to them with the last three. So I see some questions. Got you. All right. I'll get to those at the end. All right. Thank you all for the comments. So Blessing, Francois, Mike, etc. Got you. So now you've learned the skills. Say you've learned the skills, you learned the tools, you've built something or you're building something. Um, you're certified, you're building your network. So how do you position your resume? Because now you're trying to go from where you are. Maybe you're an accountant. Maybe you're in social work. Maybe you're in healthcare. Maybe you're a construction worker. But now you want to become a scrum master. You want to become a BA. You want to be a developer. You want to be a designer. So how do you position the resume? The first thing is call yourself what you want to be. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You can tell I've been going to church recently. Whatever you say you are is what people will believe you are, right? If I tell you, hey, I'm Mo, I'm a CEO, I'm an entrepreneur, I might have a little baby company, like for example, that's who I am, right? Call it out. So the first thing is in the whole resume, you're not showcasing yourself as your previous role. You're showcasing yourself as a role you want to get into. So developer, if you're even if you're a finance analyst today, as long as you got training, you've built something in your networking, call yourself a developer in the new resume because that's what the recruiter wants to see, right? So if you're looking to get into project management, design, the headline and resume, that's what you call yourself. And same thing for your LinkedIn. Go to your LinkedIn right now after this webinar. If you want to get into whatever role, That's what you put there in your headline as who you are, right? Don't wait for someone to tell you who you are. Decide who you are. So that's what you want to do, right? Everything about how you, the resume, about the skills, show the new skills. So if you're a project manager, you want to become that. The skills you want to show are not your old skills, which might be like in healthcare or social work, your new skills: scheduling, budgeting, risk management, vendor management, Scrum. Same thing for being a developer. Show the languages you're proficient in, right? Java, JavaScript, PHP, whatever, right? Designer, same thing. Talk about your user research skills, your design skills. If you're in cloud, talk about your proficiencies you've learned now. That's what you want to focus on. Quite obvious to me. Now, here's the trick with so after your heading and your skills, which are standard again in new context, when you talk about your X roles, your previous roles, or your current role, you want to use the language of the new role. So, say I was working as an accountant, right? And I wanted to get into project management. I would say, yeah, accountant, but in the heading, I will say accountant slash project manager, for example. Your resume is not a a contract, right? Can I show an example? I would, but it's Webinar Jam. I haven't used this before. At the end, maybe I'll do that. And then we have more webinars coming up. And then this is not a focus on resume alone. We have a lot more stuff to go to. Actually, I might not be able to do that, but we're going to do another one on resumes alone, right? So I'll do that in that other one. But just follow. When you talk about the role, so you say accountant at this company, then you put slash project manager. And then you say, in my role as an accountant, I lead accounting processes and projects. My last project was to improve the accounting system. Now, you're an accountant, but you're talking about that in context of project management, and say, I documented the scope of work, the schedule, managed the sponsor, delivered to perfection within X time at this budget. Same thing if you're a designer and you work as an insurance broker. You can say, in my role as an insurance broker, I help understand the user needs and help to improve the insurance process by designing a great experience for the user, right? So again, it's the same role, but the language is different in the resume. And with the headline, you kind of position that, right? And then you want to emphasize your projects and training. So people always ask me in the resume, what do I put on top or at the bottom? You put on top what is most important and what's most attractive to the recruiter. So if what's most attractive is your projects from the accelerator or your projects from volunteering, that's what you put on top, right? And then everything else below that. So emphasize that. And then this one is key. Highlight your key achievements, right? A lot of people struggle with this, right? I ask people in coaching sessions, what did you achieve in last year? Like, I don't know. I just did work. You got to be able to think about it. So here's the 3-step way to think about it. One, figure out, what does my company even do, right? What business are we in? Am I in the business of e-learning, in agriculture, banking? Okay, cool. I know the business. How to make money? So we know how to make money through sales of this product, for example. And then think about, what does my team do to help with the company making money? So if you're in finance, maybe your job is to forecast, or your business's team is to forecast. Your department's team is to forecast. Sorry, your department. Sorry, your team's goal is to forecast for us to do this. So work from the business to your team, and then what do you do to help your team succeed to then help the business succeed, and put some numbers to that. A resume must show, or rather, a good resume will show key achievements, right? So it's one thing to say, I did research. It's another thing to say, I did research to help uncover problems, which then generated insights to identifying an opportunity to help the company make $10 million over the last 2 years. One, you're talking about the result. Every line in the resume should show a result. And I don't have time to share my screen right now, but I'll do another one to get deep into how you craft a resume. So you want to show a rock star resume by showcasing results. How many user stories did you write? How many? What's the impact of the release of your product? You can say we launched the product to the market. Okay, cool. Saying launch product to market is a lot less as strong as saying launch product to market with 10,000 users in week one and 10 million in revenue over the last 6 months. Whole different story. You want to talk about the revenue impact. In the end, every role is trying to do two things: increase revenue, reduce cost. And I don't care if you're a developer, I don't care if you're an engineer, a designer. You're trying to make more money or save money or improve a process. And so quantify the impact of that. Now, some folks find that hard to do, and coaching helps a lot. So at SkillHat, we have coaches that you can work with to help you with telling your story and practicing that story. So practice, practice, practice. Once resume is done, prepare for the interview. So now once you got that resume all down packed, you have your projects in there, you have the skills, companies will look for you. Trust me, they need you more than you need them. That's the thing. They need you more than you need them. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is apply where your experience makes you unique. If you're coming from finance background, apply at the banks in fintech or in banking tech. If you're applying, if you're coming from a healthcare background, apply in health tech. If you're coming from a manufacturing background, apply in process improvement in manufacturing, for example, right? Wherever your background is, you want to kind of apply that industry or similar industry. So if you're from the mortgage industry, you can go to the banking or the insurance rather industry because um, mortgages have all these algorithms that are kind of similar to insurance algorithms that give you a price based on your credit score, etc. Right? So whatever you've been exposed to is what you want to use. And to that point, again, don't throw away your experience. Like all that stuff is valuable, no matter where you are. If I show you this one of the guy who went from 75K to 140K, he was working at the bank as a finance analyst. He learned the BA skills of prototyping, software testing, process improvements, agile, process mapping, and then he laid that on top of his finance experience, and then showcased how he has the finance skills, business and tech skills, and he went and worked in a company that needed both, and then he leveraged that and shot up his income. So you want to not throw away where you're coming from, but layer on top of that, and of course, where you're coming from, you're showcasing the numbers and the quantifiable results you've helped achieve. Now, there's two ways to apply for a job, right? You can apply for the job or have them apply to you. So as much as possible, the second way is a lot more interesting because now you can just wait and then you're getting inbound emails and they're saying, hey, Sean, I saw you on LinkedIn, or Gabrielle, I saw you on monster.com. We're looking for this role. And that's a lot more fun. So you got to do both though. Now, when you're applying out, you want to get referrals from people who work at the companies because they'll be able to help you with the resume and what to write, what to take out, how to position it. And of course, when they're referring you, the recruiter is not, they're busy. If someone in the company can vouch for you, okay, let me talk to them. And then when you know the interview with the coaching and with the storytelling, you're in a much better position, right? There's that trust already because most of the time they want to get the job filled as much as possible. No one wants to interview for no reason, right? So referrals are key. LinkedIn is the most untapped social media platform as far as I'm concerned. I feel like most people are just scratching the surface of how powerful LinkedIn is. For me, I've seen it. Like I took a 40-day challenge. I recommend the course by my friend at Three Skills. It's called the LinkedIn Blueprint. Go there right now. Get that right now. LinkedIn Blueprint. Bro, like when I started using LinkedIn, I post every single day. I post for 40 days. Everything changed about my business and about my career because just you position yourself as an authority, right? So if you learned about development in the last X months, post about that. Post about what you learned, why you thought it was important, your challenges and how you overcame that. Post every single day because what happens is that these recruiters are on LinkedIn every day looking for people, right? When people start liking your post and it goes viral, or even just has a few likes and gets like 1,000 impressions, that's 1,000 people who saw it versus 0 people who saw it, right? And then recruiters don't know about the tech stuff. They're just looking to learn. So when they're scrolling on LinkedIn, they see, oh, 5 reasons why I love being a BA. 1, it helps me innovate. 2, it helps me make an impact. 3, I love working from home remote. It helps me do that. 4, it helps me improve processes. And 5, it helps me increase revenue. Very simple post. But 1, now they see that you want to innovate. 2, they see that you want to make an impact. 3, they see you love remote work and they have a remote job. So they're like, oh, who is this person called Bless? Who's this person called Aisha? And they check you out. And now they've learned from you, or at least learned about you. Then you want to educate them. So deeper posts, like I'll go very deep. Like I posted about why, as a Scrum Master, as a product manager, you have to have a backlog refinement meeting before your sprint planning meeting. You're like, what does that even mean, right? Talking about backlog refinement and talking about sprint planning. Recruiter's like, what does that even mean? Let me check more. And then now you're educating the audience. You're educating the recruiter. You're educating the audience. You're educating the hiring manager. And then you position yourself as knowledgeable. And before you know it, you become an authority in that space. Yo, I've only done SkillHat for a year, and now they're calling me for conferences on how to. We want to hire black people. We want to improve the diversity in our company. Come and speak and tell us about how you're doing this. I just post on LinkedIn, and people see me as an authority now, right? It's that simple. Take the challenge. Go take the LinkedIn Blueprint course. Google it, LinkedIn Blueprint by Toby Oluwole of 3Skills. Tell them I sent you. Um, and just figure out one, what do you want to be known for, right? Write that down. Three things you want to be known for. I want to be known for. I'm known for tech. I'm known for transitioning to tech, careers, entrepreneurship, project management, and product management. When people think about that, think about Mo. So what do you want people to think about when they think about you with regards to where you want to get to? Trust me, do that for just 30 days. Your life will change. Okay. So who's gonna do that? Who's gonna post a LinkedIn every single day? Who's gonna post a LinkedIn every single day? You can say I or I'll post or whatever you want to say. Or who's not gonna do that? I know it might seem a little daunting because you don't feel like you're the authority. Bro, do not wait for anyone to call you the authority. Call yourself the authority, right? And then before you know it, you'll be seen as that, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Okay. So where are we? Okay, so this seems like a lot of steps, right? We talked about get the training, um, get certification. We talked about get a get the network, get a community, build something, learn the tools. What else do we got? We have build a portfolio, build a resume, interview prep, get coaching, apply and educate. It's a lot of stuff, right? So the beautiful thing is that we've built the whole process at SkillHat to make that whole thing easier for you. So if you want to get into product management, business analysis, project management, agile, Scrum, and UX, those are areas we focus on. And then we have a developer mentorship track as well, right? So you could take an 8 to 12 week program at SkillHat to learn the skills. Once that's done, step 2 is career coaching. So you will be assigned a one-on-one coach. This person will help you figure out the right role for you as far as like the right role within your domain. So at this point, you pick the right role already, right? You pick product or UX. Then from there, we'll figure out, is it in the bank? Is it what industry is best for you? You know, what will make you happy? What's your income band you want? How do you double your income? So we kind of help you with that. And then we help you with your resume. So this shouldn't say PM, it should just say resume, any resume you want for the role you're trying to get into. And then we help you prep for interviews. This is a one-to-one relationship. So this is a boot camp program where you get a one-on-one coach for 4 sessions. So you have 4 sessions, each is 1 hour. And then after that, you have the accelerator, which is optional, where you can actually work in the team for 9 weeks and get coaching every single week to learn the right processes of working. So in the accelerator, there's 5 roles. There's a developer role. You could be a developer in there, a designer. There's a business analyst, a scrum master, or a project manager, and a product manager or product owner. So you can pick on any of these roles, but you have to have gone through the training to get in the accelerator. So wherever you got training, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be SkillHat. It could be U of T, any other bootcamp. As long as you have the training, then you can come in the accelerator and launch an app with coaching in 9 weeks to get that experience in the right framework. So we go through design thinking. You have to actually launch a real app, find real users who have a real problem, understand why they have that problem, understand the competitive landscape, figure out a business model that's valuable, and then after design thinking, it's Scrum. So you have sprints, and you have a goal every sprint. So first sprint could be landing page, second sprint is this feature, maybe login, third sprint is whatever it is, and then by sprint 5, you're launching to recruiters, to hiring managers on demo day. Then 4 is networking. We take you through networking. You network, like we have in-person events and online events. We bring in previous alumni. All these screenshots I showed of people who are successful. They come back in the class to connect with everybody. And then when you even get the job, you get job success support in your first job. And that is it for me. Okay, we did that in an hour. So thank you all for joining. So now Q&A. Okay. Let's get the question. So now, if you are looking to exit, we're done with the presentation. You learned the steps. There's no magic. Those are the steps. It's not no magic anywhere else. Those are the 8 steps to get in tech, figure out the right role, get the training certification, build a network, etc. So first question is what percentage of SkillHat alumni get jobs after the program? It's a very high percentage, but that's not what we track because everybody is different, right? Like you get so people who ask this question are looking for a guarantee. There is no guarantee. The guarantee is you. We guarantee you that you will learn the skills. We guarantee you will have the exposure, but in the end, all right, we guarantee you will have the opportunity to learn the skills through the class, but you learning it is up to you by doing the work, paying attention in class, doing the group work, doing the homework, building the actual product, doing the right research, right? So it's up to you. But what we can tell you is that the time range of those who actually put in the effort, they land a job within 2 to 6 months after graduation. Okay. The program could take 3 months, and within 2 to 6 months, people land jobs that double their income. So the whole timeline could take between 4 months to 8 months. And that's a good timeline because it's a fun experience and you're not alone. And the ROI is massive. So our programs are typically between 1,800 Canadian dollars and 4,000. And we've seen people increase their income by 45K, 30K, 60K. So that ROI in year one alone is massive. And I think about that over a 10-year period. The average alumni income increase in our programs is 45K. Okay, that's average. So those are numbers that we track. Okay, next question is, what's your stance or advice on transitioning to a tech role in the same company? Would you recommend it? It depends on the company. So the question is, if I want to go to a new role in the same company, some companies love that. I was talking to a head of HR RBC last 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh, can we get some SkillHat alumni to come work with you? And she says, yeah, but in our company, we actually move people around when they want to get into tech, and we encourage that. So depending on the company is the answer. Some companies are not open for whatever reason. I don't think that should be the case, right? So that's the answer. Depends on the company. Talk to your manager. First of all, gauge the manager, right? See if you tell them that you want to move forward, they will. If are they like in your interest? Are they looking to help you get better? And also, does the opportunity even exist, right? Like, it's possible it doesn't even exist, and you're wasting your time, right? If you want to be a developer and the company doesn't use software, then what are you gonna do, right? If you want to be a designer and they don't have a design thinking process and they don't really work on use design thinking and they don't have a UX process, it might be a waste of your time, right? So is the opportunity there? Great. If it's there, what's the appetite of the company and your manager to want you to move forward? If they want you to progress, you've seen that, then you can approach them. Next question from the chat. So we're going to move back and forth from QA to the chat, but I recommend put the questions in the Q&A side of things. Okay, so another question is, do you work with people getting into CRM systems like Salesforce? We teach BA skills, so general business analysis, and within that, you learn about all kinds of systems. You learn about ERPs, you learn about CRMs, you learn about web systems, about mobile apps. So I prefer that because I think that's a lot more strategic and you're not pigeonholed. Now, if you really want to become a Salesforce developer or a Salesforce BA, and you really want to focus on Salesforce, that's great. That's a decision that you can make, and I think it's not a bad decision. But that's not what we do. We focus on the general frameworks of the role, and you can apply that into any system or technology, and that's what we provide. Okay. Another question is, how do you kick off the accelerator? So it's a cohort style program. It's not a program that you can just kind of start anytime. There's a start date. Everyone starts the program on September 23rd. That's the next cohort start, September 23rd. And then on day one, you form a team. So you pitch a product. You say, hey, I want to work on this product. Who likes this idea? Everyone pitches the products. And then the products with the most people get worked on. Okay. So that's kind of how it goes. But the date is September 23rd. You have to join 2 weeks before that date. So September 9th. So go to Skill. So goodness, do me a favor, put the whatever people need, the link. So coming out of this webinar, if you join any SkillHat program, you get a discount. So Dennis will put it in the chat. Um, everyone gets a discount from being in the webinar. So save that discount code. Okay, she's gonna put it in the chat. I think it's gonna be in the offer. So if you can help me with that goodness, that'll help a lot. Okay, the next question is I want to take the Scrum Product Owner certification. So the same thing. All of our programs, go to skillhat.ca. Skillhat.ca. The actual link to apply is skillhat.ca/apply. Okay, and from there you can apply. That's the answer. Okay, you can see the prices and stuff like that. Okay, what else do we have? Let's see. How do you recommend transitioning into the US, like the United States, I guess? And how do you recommend transitioning from a tech role to a developer or architect role? So transition to the US, I'm not sure where you are, and I'm not an immigration expert, so the short answer is just apply for a role that really likes you, and you're unique in that role, like you're hard to get, and then they can help you move. Like one of our instructors who just got a job at Facebook at Meta, and they moved him to the US in California from Toronto, Canada. So find a role that you're unique at, and it's very hard to kind of find you, get them to hire you, and then they'll move you. That's it. It's not kind of rocket science. You just get the role, and then they'll do the work for you. How do you recommend transitioning from a tech role to a developer role? Seems I don't get that question because developer is also technical, so I don't understand that. Please ask that in a different way. Thank you. Um, so I'm gonna pause and ask guys. So the next webinar, um, well, first thing is what was the most valuable thing for you in today's webinar? Like what was like value add, what was important, what was new? That's the first question. And the second question is the next webinar, what do you want to learn? What's the next thing you want to learn? It could be like I want to take the course, I want to learn this specific thing in another free webinar, or I want to bring this person. Who do you want us to bring in the next webinar? Okay. The discount code is webinar 5. It's one word, webinar 5 uppercase. When you apply for any course, you get a checkout page, you put the discount code in, you get 5% off all courses. The discount code is webinar 5. Um, okay, I think I got to put the offer in. Oh, my bad. Okay, so I've just published the offer. My bad. It's there actually. You can see it now. I had to publish it myself. So put the you can see the offer. Webinar 5 is the code. Click it. It takes you to our site. You can apply from there. So what was value add for you? What did you learn today? What was new for you? And what do you want to learn in the next webinar? And I'm gonna just get back that slide of the steps. Okay, so I'm seeing what was value add was the CEO analogy, like thinking like a CEO. Thank you, Blessed. Um, I'm seeing some other stuff in the chat. Okay. So yeah, I want to get some feedback, guys. Who do you want to see in the next webinar? What do you want to learn next? And what was valuable for you? And here are the steps to land your dream role in tech. Of course, the first thing is figure out the right role for yourself. Now, if you need, if you need help, or if you need a career, uh, need tips like one-on-one help, if you need free one-on-one help for tech career transitioning, you've helped 400 plus people do this. You can book a free call with a skill hat and put it in the chat. Learning advisor, Esther John and her team, they will help you based on your experience. So go to bookings.skillhat.ca. That's it. Free one-on-one help. Um, bookings.skillhat.ca. So Blessing is saying next webinar, DevOps Cloud Computing. Got you. And then Only's like what was value for her was step-by-step breakdown for that's actionable. Thank you. All that you were saying how to create a stellar resume, was that what you said was value add or like what you want to learn next? If you could confirm for me, that would be great. And then Maya Kun was talking about what was value add was the structure or steps for transitioning. And next time, a good example of a resume. Okay, got you. We'll put that on for next time. So let's put that on for next time. The next one we'll work on like a resume and show you. And that's it for today. I'll give you guys a few more seconds if you wanted to share any thoughts, and then we'll end this poll. You got the offer, 5% off all courses. By the way, that expires in 3 days. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. That code expires in 3 days. So it's 3 days after the webinar, and then the discount expires. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Um, book a free call. Connect with us. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Let me put my LinkedIn in the chat. Let's all connect on LinkedIn. So I guess if you let's practice our networking, right? So if what should people follow you for? So you can say follow me on LinkedIn for X and Y, right? So for me, follow me on LinkedIn for more career advice, more tech career advice. So I'm gonna put my LinkedIn in there. And if you have friends who want to watch this webinar, remember it's recorded, so you can share it with them. I put my LinkedIn in the chat. Y'all can share your LinkedIn and share why we should connect with you. So hours for the classes, a lot of different classes, about 7 programs. You got to check the site for that. But they're always evenings and weekends. We don't do any classes during the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays because we focus on people who already have jobs and want to transition. Okay. So evenings and weekends, Eastern Standard Time. So without further ado, thank you, everyone. We're going to end the webinars and we'll see you on LinkedIn. Peace, guys.